Good morning. Today is April 30th, 2020. Here's Lucy reporting the news for you. CCP Media reports that 6.37 million middle schoolers and elementary school students are back to school. Among them, 1,500 students have fever. No COVID-19 cases so far. Under CCP regime, once the infection number gets too big, the media starts to talk about percentage. Of course, 1,500 out of 6.37 million is a small percentage. But if you think about the R0 value, the infection rate, CCP said the infection is, quote, preventable and controllable, unquote, and, quote, not as contagious as SARS, unquote. They always project optimism without data. The report from the CCP media also stressed that more than 97% students have reported back to school. The number is simply not true. All this CCP propaganda has one goal: lie to people, so people have false sense of security to go back to work and go back to school. Now to turn to North Korea. December 3rd, 2019, RFI reported that North Korea dictator Kim Jong-un attended opening ceremony to rebuild the birthplace of their ancestors. On April 26, 2020, CCP media reported that same news with the exact same picture from the event back in December 2019. Let's return to mainland China. Penzhou City, Guizhou Province, plans to grow 600 more or 1,000 acres of industrial peppers next year. These industrial peppers are used for national defense, such as anti-terrorism and anti-riot. It reminds me of CCP's brutality against Hong Kong people. Why so much industrial pepper spray? Are they used to deter people from mainland China from uprising? Under CCP, the so-called national defense or social stability is more important than people's food supply. CCP is still thinking about how to enslave its people while China is facing severe food supply shortage.
Hello, here's your host, the Mandarin. I will continue the news report. The next news titled, China requires Taiwan and Hong Kong artists to guarantee 10 years of political correctness, and violators will suffer penalties. There are always many restrictions on the film and television industry within the firewall under the control of the Communist Party. There are restrictions on number of costume dramas that can be aired, the amount of salaries that can be paid to actors, numbers of South Korean dramas that can enter China, and the number of foreign actors that can be on a Chinese drama. Last year, because of the Hong Kong anti-extradition bill democratic movement, mainland China continued to launch attacks against Hong Kong. Many Taiwan and Hong Kong artists have been partially banned. Hong Kong's Apple News has obtained news that Chinese officials have verbally notified major film platforms and film and television companies not to work with people from Taiwan and Hong Kong who have not sworn their loyalty to mainland China, unless some of these actors are absolutely irreplaceable. In the past, in the past few months of the virus outbreak, the Chinese authorities seems to have not let up on their suppression on artists from Taiwan and Hong Kong. To cooperate with the Chinese official orders, several major streaming platforms such as Youku, Tencent, and iQIYI have added a new clause when signing copyright contracts with film and television companies to require artists from Hong Kong and Taiwan to promise that they will maintain 10 years of political correctness to a degree that does not incur a ban from the Chinese government. If this clause is violated, the streaming platform has the right to seek compensation. The Mainland Affairs Council stated today that such action by the Chinese government clearly showed that China does not respect freedom of speech and suppress creativity in performance. These new contract terms further suppress the opportunities for Hong Kong and Taiwan's artists to further their careers in mainland. Ms. Liang, a senior executive of Beijing-based production company, said to Apple News of Hong Kong, quote, "My company made a big online movie recently. Because one of the actors came from Hong Kong, the Film Bureau asked our company to issue an assurance statement to ensure that the actor is loyal to mainland China and Hong Kong and does not support the independence of Hong Kong. In addition, this actor must also write a statement of political stance and guarantee political correctness in order to further his or her career in mainland. Frankly speaking, the government added so many obstacles for using Hong Kong and Taiwan actors that will make us avoid trouble and not ask them to perform in the films at all. Unquote. Ms. Liang pointed out that Hong Kong and Taiwan A-list actors such as Andy Lau, Dong Liyan, Zhou Renfa, Liang Chaowei, Gu Tianle, Zhao Youting, Chen Qiaoen and Huo Jianhua are popular in movie and TV dramas and will guarantee a large amount of revenue, so mainland production companies are still willing to use them. But Taiwan and Hong Kong artists should not be considered for other supporting roles as much as possible. Recently, a production company is going to start shooting a costume drama TV series. The male and female lead are definitely going to be mainland actors, but for second lead, male and female, they wanted to use Zhang Junlin and Zheng Jiayin when they handed the plan to the film platform and hoped to form a contract. The film platform senior official told the production company that when the contract is officially signed, they are adding a new regulation to the contract that production company used Hong Kong or Taiwan artists or staff in their main creative staff and must guarantee 10 years of political correctness to ensure that they will not be banned by the mainland government. If the production company violates the contract, the film platform has the right to recover losses and compensation from the production company. In the past, the film platform only verbally warned production companies not to use politically incorrect Hong Kong and Taiwan artists and behind-the-scenes personnel. It is known that Luo Jialin was influenced by the Hong Kong Democratic Movement at the end of last year. He was originally invited to perform a mainland costume drama, Ru Yi Fang Fei. However, the production company was verbally pressured by the film platform and eventually decided to not use him. Later, Luo Jialiang insisted on his loyalty to China, emphasizing that he was patriotic and did not want to be subjugated to mainland markets bullying. But Ms. Liang said, quote, in the past, just verbal warning from film platform were enough to discourage production companies to use Hong Kong and Taiwan artists. Now they have to write in ink in a contract for 10-year guarantee. Is there any future for Hong Kong and Taiwan artists not in the A-list? It doesn't matter if they are loyal to China. We don't want we don't want any court trouble, so we will only use them if necessary. To force us to guarantee an artist doesn't cause political trouble in 10 years, how are we even supposed to do that? Quote, in recent years, the Chinese government has severely suppressed Hong Kong and Taiwan artists who supported the Taiwan Sunflower Student Movement or Hong Kong's Democratic Movement. The mainland will officially ban them from participating in television shows, TV dramas, and movies. It is time for Hong Kong and Taiwan artists and behind-the-scene personnel to seek career development outside of mainland, because it is becoming increasingly difficult for them to survive in Beijing and Shanghai. The Mainland Affairs Council stated that Taiwanese artists are forced to express their political stance and loyalty to mainland China if they want to further their careers in mainland, which shows that Taiwan's democratic freedom is the best environment for creative development, while in mainland China, the government uses their ideology to suppress performance creativity, performance environment, and use performing art as propaganda machine while requiring all staff to serve their politics. It is obvious that mainland China is not an environment that respects freedom of speech or allow artists the freedom of expression. The Mainland Affairs Council appeals that mainland China should not intervene in the art, film, and television creative space with political factors. The way that the mainland requires Taiwan artists and behind-the-scenes staff to ensure the political correctness is not conducive to the development of film and television industry between mainland and Taiwan. And it also makes people of Taiwan suspicious and increasingly widen the gap between people in mainland and Taiwan. Next news. Coronavirus epidemic broke out once again in Manchuria. Ambulance were sending in patients nonstop. Hospitals in Harbin needed to close down their ER due to patient overflow. Wuhan coronavirus broke out once again in the northeast region. The first affiliated hospital of Harbin Medical University in Heilongjiang province had a collective infection of hospital staffs. The hospital then made announcement that the fever clinic in the hospital would be closed for 1 week starting from yesterday. Overseas media pointed out that the epidemic in Harbin was quite serious and patients were continuously sent to hospital by ambulance. Corona experts who used to work in Wuhan have also been transferred to Heilongjiang province to help fight the epidemic. The notice from the first affiliated hospital of Harbin Medical University revealed that the fever clinic was closed for 1 week according to the requirement of local disease control center. Quote, reopening time will be notified in another time. Quote, some netizens pointed out that Harbin has already gone through many houses and asked the residents who had went to the hospital previously to seek treatment to connect with local social workers, but didn't disclose the reason for this requirement. Some people in Harbin told overseas media that apart from the first affiliated hospital of Harbin Medical University, the second hospital of Harbin City also had a large outbreak inside the hospital, with long queues of ambulance carrying potentially infected patients, a large number of non-diagnosed suspected cases, as well as people who never had close contact with those patients that were being sent to hospital were isolated at home. Tong, Zhao Hui, Qiu Haibo, and Du Bin, who are critical care medical experts, rushed to Heilongjiang province on Sunday the 26th in response to the epidemic. It is said that another expert, Zhong Nanshan, leader of high-level expert group of the National Health and Health Commission, also visited two hospitals in Mudanjiang that day. A 68-year-old patient, surnamed Chen, in Harbin, had a consultation with the first affiliated hospital of Harbin Medical University on the 6th of this month. After a few conversations, the medical staffs believed that he did not need an independent ward for medical treatment, and the medical staff who were treating Chen decided to transfer him to Harbin's second hospital for medical treatment due to overcapacity at their own hospital. And that caused a massive infection in the hospital that Chen was transferred to. According to local media statistics, the patient with the surname Chen at least infected 87 other people, who caused the entire Harbin second hospital to be locked down. And those are all of the news we wanted to report today. We will see you next time. Bye bye.